Good morning, guys. Happy Friday already. Jeez, weeks are flying by as I get older. So, this morning I want to talk about something that a lot of you have probably noticed in the comments, and I've certainly noticed. And then I got a real interesting email the other day that kind of went into it as well. Now, y'all know we've got a lot of new people in the family here. Even saw a comment yesterday where one guy says, I just started prepping last week. Okay. So, again, you know me. I try to gear this channel for all levels, from the brand new prepper to those of us who've been doing this for years and years and years. Okay. Because we were all at the beginning at one point going, oh my God, what do I do? Okay. And over time we learn more and everything like that. We've got to understand that, it's our responsibility to teach the people who have opened their eyes and said, hey, these people aren't crazy tinfoil hat wearing wackos. They actually are onto something here. So the question that keeps coming up is, what is a MAG? Okay, MAG. And a MAG is a mutual assistance group, okay, which basically is a group of people, usually more than just a family, that have committed to each other to help in whatever capacity in a balloon going up situation. Okay. And so the question that I got via email was, how do you go about vetting somebody for a MAG? And I thought it was a really good question. Now, I'm certainly not going to profess to be the end-all be-all knowing how to do this. Okay, if there was anybody I'd say who probably is the professor, the expert, that would probably be Pastor Joe Fox over on Viking Preparedness. Okay, because with him and Shofar Mountain and people all moving to the same area and literally building a community. I mean, building a house and that's like the ultimate MAG. Okay. But that's not exactly what everybody has the capacity for, what everybody wants, whole nine yards. Okay. I'm not packing up and moving to somewhere else and I'm going to start building a house on the side of a mountain somewhere with the group. That's, 99.99% of us don't have that ability or desire. Okay. But a lot of the ideas that I'm going to take here come from me talking to an Army recruiter when I enlisted, okay? And after all, the military's the biggest MAG there is, okay? You count on everybody, and everybody has a job to do, and as long as everybody does their job, everything works, okay? Some of what I'm going to say here has obviously been tailored for preppers, but you'll get the point pretty quickly, okay? So, first thing, before you decide to either form or join an existing MAG, okay, there's some super important questions you need to ask yourself, okay? And you got to be brutally honest with yourself about this, okay? You can't go, well, I think maybe I could, all right? The first one, very important one, are all your family members on board with either creating or joining a MAG? I mean, simple as that. Is your spouse completely on board? Are your kids completely on board? Because there is a responsibility that you are taking, and you can't just have the spouse being dragged along because, oh gee, honey wants to do this and I need to go. Okay, they need to be committed. Kids, again, depending on age. If they're teenagers, they need to be committed. If they're 5, they're going to go wherever mom goes. Okay. So the next question, do I work well with others, especially in a stressful situation? If you are one of those people that does not work well with others, you will not make it in a MAG, okay? It's pretty obvious at that point. If you're going to join a MAG and they tell you to do something, your answer can't be no. Same thing as if you create one, all right? If you're one of these, I've got to do, nobody else can do it, I do it right, and nobody else can do it as well as me, you're setting yourself up to fail. Okay. So you've got to get in the mindset of you work well with others. The next one, what skills do I have to offer to a group? Okay. Are you a gardener, a hunter, a doctor? I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, okay, but skills that a group might need. Now, you might not have any. Think of the kids. The kids aren't going to have any, okay? So are you prepared to be low man on the totem pole where your responsibility is to pick vegetables? Your responsibility is to be the dishwasher. Your responsibility is the one who cleans the latrines or the outhouses or whatever it would be, okay? You're the one whose responsibility is to do guard duty 12 hours a day, 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 2 off, or whatever it would be, okay? Yes, there are going to be places in mags for unskilled, if you will. I hate using that term, but it's about the only way I can. But, again, you have to be honest with yourself. What skills do you bring, okay? Again, creating or joining a group. Will I be a good leader? Will I be a good follower? Okay. The biggest downfall to any mag is too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Everybody thinks they've got all the answers. All right. That will never work. Depends on how the group is set up. It could be set up by committees. It could be set up with a chain of command, whatever it would be. Okay. But you need to know, can you be a good follower? Even if you think you're smarter than the guy giving the orders or the girl giving the orders, can you be the one? Can you just suck it up and do what you're told for the sake of the group? Okay, again, remember, in this situation, we're not talking about individuals anymore. You've got to do everything for the sake of the group. Last one, are you committed, your spouse, your kids, everybody, to regularly meeting with your mag and regularly engage in whatever training is determined? Some groups meet once a month. Some groups meet every weekend, whatever it would be. Okay. Are you committed to doing that? It can't be, I can't make it this week, it's raining. I can't make it this week, Susie's got a softball game. Oh, gee, I made it this time. Okay. Joe, we haven't seen you in 3 months. Okay. This is something you need to commit to. If you cannot commit to it, then you're obviously not serious about it. These things are crucial. If you answer no to any of these questions, ask yourself what you can do to change it first before trying to go off on this venture. After all, you're asking for other people to help protect your life. And in return, you're offering to help them protect theirs, okay? It's a mutual assistance group. They have to be able to count on you. Again, like I said, going back to my days in the Army, okay? I had to be able to trust the guy on my right, on my left, in front of me, and behind me, because my life counted on them. I had to trust them implicitly. All right. So once you decide you want to set up a group or join a group, okay, you need to kind of go through some questions, all right? And if you want to set it up, these are questions you're going to need to ask. Or I'm sorry, if you want to join a group, these are questions you're going to need to ask of the existing group to make sure you fit in. And if they're a group you're setting up, these are ones you have to already know the answers to, okay? So first off, what's the goal of this particular group? I mean, it could be as simple as rendering aid to each other in an emergency, or it could be as complicated as, like I said, Pastor Joe Fox, and building an entire community with houses and water and food and, schools and whatever would be. So you have to know what the objective is for the group, how far you want to go. Okay. Are you going to accept immediate family members into the group when the head of household is accepted? Okay. Just because mom and dad are there, okay, the kid's probably going to tag along. That's not an issue. But what about adult children? How do you do that one? The 19-year-old kid is he welcome? Is he not welcome? If the kid's gee, I'm just going to play video games all day. Maybe you don't want him in the mag. It's just another mouth to feed. Okay. Can existing members recruit others on their own and or even speak to others about the group? I mean, this is OPSEC here, guys. All right, you don't know, this is something. This one's huge. Okay, you need to have a definitive answer to this one because this is how groups can easily get infiltrated. You see all those stories about militias, and every time you see the militia, I'm not saying join a militia, okay, but you hear all the stories. Well, they were infiltrated by the FBI. Why? Because they didn't vet the people well enough. Okay, that's something you're going to get into. Back to what I said earlier. Is the MAG going to be ruled by a single person, or is it going to be ruled by committee? How is that going to be chosen? Are you going to have elections? What's it going to be? Because again, if you have elections, remember this: somebody loses too, and that person could really have their nose disjointed, if you will. Okay. What are or what will be the rules of the group? What infractions can get you thrown out of the group? If all of a sudden you're stealing food from somebody, is that enough to get you thrown out of the group? If you're out picking vegetables and, you decided to eat a tomato out there, is that enough to get you thrown out of the group because you're eating more than your food ration? Okay. We don't even have to get into violence or anything, male, 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 female, female, female. Okay. We don't have to get into that. But what are going to be the rules? What is it, what is expected of everybody? Again, this is a community. Okay. Then again, are you looking for somebody, is the group looking for somebody with preferred skills or preferred background? Okay. If you're at the very beginning of creating a group, you may be looking for everybody. Okay. Or you may be at the end, you may be joining an existing group that's been around for 5 years, and they just need one more piece of the puzzle. Are you that piece? Having a mag that's got 15 gardeners in it and no doctor does no one any good. Okay. You're going to have the greatest tomatoes in the world, but all of a sudden, if somebody gets an infection and nobody knows what to do about it, you got problems. Okay. So finally, vetting people when you want to bring them on board. Okay. You've decided to start your own mag. Now, obviously, you're going to start with your family. Maybe your close friends are next. Okay. But I'll bet that nobody knows a doctor, a dentist, a candle maker, a blacksmith, a mechanic, a hunter, a rancher, a dairy farmer, an electrician, and so on down the line. Okay. But you're eventually going to need people with all these skills. Now, the chances of finding all of them in your mag is slim to none, but you want to find most of them. Okay. And this is throughout time, what you're going to wind up having is this is how you're going to barter with other groups. They've got a doctor and you don't. You got a blacksmith and they don't. Hey, I'll tell you what, if your blacksmith does this for us, our doctor can do that for you, or whatever it would be. I'm spitballing here. Okay. So when you are looking at bringing new people into the group, these are some basic questions I think you should start asking. Now, depending on how you want to organize the group, what your situation is. I mean, again, it's going to be totally different if you're creating a mag in Houston, Texas, where it's warm most of the year, or if you're doing it in International Falls, Minnesota. Okay. Different situations for everybody. First question I'd want to ask everybody: have you ever belonged to a mag before? And if yes, why are you no longer a member? Okay. Gee, they kicked me out for stealing. Okay, that pretty much answers that. Gee, I moved from International Falls, Minnesota to Houston. Okay, that makes sense. Excuse me. What? No, I've never joined one. Okay. So the next logical question: why do you want to join a mag? And I want to hear a heartfelt, true answer, not somebody that went on the internet and read answers to questions and memorized them. You can read somebody's body language, their eyes, stuff like that. Make sure they're being sincere. Third one: are you preparing for any specific SHTF disaster? Now, if somebody comes up and says, yeah, I'm preparing for the zombie apocalypse, okay, they've been watching too much Walking Dead. Okay. If somebody's preparing for hurricanes and you live in North Carolina, okay, that makes sense. If somebody's preparing for an economic collapse, they're going to have different knowledge depending on what they're prepping for. Important question. How long do you think you could survive at your current skill level with the supplies you currently have stockpiled if shit hit the fan today? Okay. Basically, what you're getting into is what their stash is. The guy says, oh, I got 2 weeks worth of groceries in the pantry. Okay, great. You have the normal ma and pa kettle grocery store, going to the grocery store every 2 weeks, okay, every paycheck. If the guy comes and says, I've got a year's worth of food for my family, and this is the weaponry I have, and this is the defense stuff I have, etc. You want to get into that. You want to make sure that the person's a prepper, not a freeloader. Okay. Again, how many family members do you want to have join the mag? One, just him and his wife, his wife and his 2 kids. How old are the kids? What skills does your wife bring? Where is your wife? We'd like to meet her too. Don't worry about meeting the kids, okay? If the kids are 5, who cares? They're going to be too busy playing with Legos. Their whole job is going to be hauling a bucket of water, finding sticks, and maybe picking tomatoes. That's about it. But remember, you want to know how many people they're going to bring in, because depending on what you're doing, those are mouths to feed, more people you've got to protect. Again, this is more responsibility that you're taking on with more people. And again, like I mentioned there before, we've talked about what skills the person you're talking. What skills does your wife have? Okay. Is she a seamstress? Is she a master gardener? Is she a crack shot? Who knows? There are plenty of women who are better shots than I am. Okay. It's like, don't stick yourself into just the male, female, typical gender roles, because everybody's going to have to kind of do everything. It's not beneath the leader of a group to wash the dishes, and it's not, unreasonable to ask the dishwasher to go and check the traps to see if there's squirrels or rabbits in them. So, all right, long video, but y'all asked about this one, and I wanted to cover it relatively thoroughly. But there are plenty of other questions, but that'll give you somewhere to start and something to think about when you either go to join a mag or look at creating one. Getting into how to find other people, that we've talked about that before. That's keeping your eyes open and, feeling people out slowly, listening to them, seeing what your neighbors are doing. There's a whole lot of things. A mag member who's 50 miles away is not going to be very useful for you when the Chinese just came over the hill and you're trying to defend your house. Hey, no problem, Bob, I'll be there in an hour and a half. Not gonna work. So, a lot of things that y'all need to think about, but these are some basics that I wanted to give you here. The rest of them you're gonna kind of have to figure out for your particular individual situation, like everything else in prepping. Have a great Friday. We'll talk to y'all later. Pinball out.